We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk one more time out of Europe about crypto and the altcoin market, because the setups are looking extremely good. Yeah, not to say juicy, right? So we're doing that, and then I'm going to head to the airport and fly over to Brazil. But before, let's talk about some altcoin news. There's something for Chainlink, there's something for Floki. Let's see how whales were shaking out the market in the past days. What is to come next? Let's check that out and talk also quickly about Ecomi and Veve. So make sure to stay tuned all the way through. Okay, good morning to each and every one of you. I see a lot of rare hodlers here in the house. Troy Paris, Trucking Hank, Flo, good morning to all of you guys. Let's see. The chat is active, you know, like you literally don't have to look at the charts. You only see the chat is active. Or it's Friday, right? So it's these two things, but we know that chart is probably mostly in the green or has recovered just by that chat activity. So here for the juice poured out. Good morning. Let's see, best motivational intro of any channel. Absolutely. I mean, if you wake up or go to bed or whatever with Janet Yellen telling you to pump it to a gazillion, trillion, million, then you know what's going on, right? Good weather change from Germany to Brazil. I absolutely agree with you. Maybe I don't look like an albino cheese raccoon, something like that, right? Then after a couple of days, I hope I will get some colors, but I also hope that I can get a couple of nice backdrops there for that. By the way, what the heck is this? Oh, I was just, hey Troy, thank you for the $25 super chat. I guess that is going to be the first caipirinha, right? Little travel money. Yeah, so I hope I can give you some really nice backdrops there from city, beach, and whatever else is coming. And hopefully these $25 will buy me some really nice drink in Bahia or something like that. Couple of them. If you convert that into reais, you can do a couple of things with that. But thank you very much for that. And guys, let me know in the chat where you are going to spend your Christmas holidays. That would be also interesting to see. Also looking always for new ideas for traveling. But yeah, thanks so much. And let's see, Jasper Frank also here, Patrick Boltman, another rare hodler in disguise. We are ready for the run. Big sip of coffee. This is going to be a little bit of a stressing journey, but we're getting there. So also like crypto, right? A little bit stressful, long journey, but we're getting there. So let's look at quickly at what happened to Bitcoin in the last days, right? And if you say, okay, many people are looking at charts, many people are traders, then you have yourselves like the biggest, beautiful fake out in history, right? So you go up here, you breach 100k, you form a new all-time high, everyone thinks the rally continues, and then you smack down. And not only that, you know that everyone and their mother is looking at this trend line, right? And what do you do as whales, as market makers? You let this even close below the trend line, and then you just pump up over it again, so that everyone piles up their shorts, and also the shorts get wrecked like the longs got wrecked here. And that is part of the game, right? And which is why it is so important if you're a trader or so to really be careful in this game. Because I mean, look at this wick down to 92,000. I mean, where do you put your stop losses? Probably here if you don't want to get wicked out, right? But that is really what happened. So even I was looking at that and I thought, oh damn, like big fat correction coming in, but no. Faked out to the upside, faked out to the downside, then go to the upside, right? I still think that this cycle has many more gains, like massive move in front of it, but I think it will happen all in a very short time, right? You know how we are always looking at the indicators down here that are telling us where we are in this cycle. I don't think that there is time-wise so much left, but if you're looking at the other cycles, right? So here, for example, for Bitcoin, and you see where we were in terms of Bitcoin when we hit a similar RSI value as we have right here, then, and also say, okay, we are a month past election, that's really where we are, right? Would be that. So we have this last move here to go. And I will show you something that puts this into perspective and maybe gives us even a little bit more of a clue. But let's just assume we are behaving like last cycle. Then maybe there's 3 months more and then you top out, right? And that is also what the TSI tells us, right? I've re-implemented the line here after taking some screenshots. So you see how the last cycles were, or these two cycles line up in this trend line. Well, I show this all the time, and for me it's going to be a key indicator to determine if we are at the top or not. And you see there is, if we behave like this, we would already top out basically in January, right? If you put this on top of this line exactly, and we perform like we do right now, which would mean 2 months of full blown rally, then this says in January somewhere it's over, all right? And we will see if that happens, but that could mean that we are going like here, 2 more big bars to the upside, then sideways, top, whatever indecision candle, right? And then already done. There is something, I will pull this up right now. I had planned this for later, but I will pull it up right now. I have it on the thumbnail. There's something if you look at certain indicators that tells us maybe that's not a comparison to the last cycle, okay? So, and that is really this one here, where basically the money flow indicators say, okay, there is a certain runway zone, and that we had so the CMF, right, down here, which in the past cycles, so 2017 is here, that's even before, we hit a green and then even a red zone, right? And right now we did hit this green zone again, and we just entered the runway zone, which brings us a parabolic move like here, which then brings us to the red zone. So there would be even more green zone and red zone left over if that holds true. Now, you see that in the last cycle, and I've shown this one time before, right? But you see that in the last cycle, neither was there a green zone nor a red zone. We just cut off. We had the second fake out top, but we never reached it. Now we have reached it again, since the first time since 8 years, which means only basing our predictions and opinions on the last cycle is not enough anymore, right? Because we might we might already be in such a zone here, which we never reached in the cycle in the first place. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. Before we jump into the news here, let's see. Troy asked, what your thoughts on how quickly the market recovered? I think that's so personally, I think that's a combination out of two things. First of all, we really didn't see that big retail FOMO yet. So, and second, the ETFs and all these institutions that in the last cycle were not part of the game, they're just looking at whatever dip to buy up more. And we saw that this also really happened. Like there were buyers that just bought 1,000 Bitcoin off of the market, and that's that's crazy, right? Trucking Inc. says Christmas in Turkey. Nice. That sounds fun. Absolutely, I would say. Definitely also better weather than here. And see Green Lantern GM boys about to leave the castle. Present, liked, and paying attention. Thanks, PH, for the daily caffeine. I know how hard it is to find the time for all the work you do for us. So thank you very much. And also Troy seconding that. Thank you very much for the recognition. And yes, sometimes it is hard to do that, but I also enjoy it, especially with you guys. And I can't wait to meet a lot of my rare hodlers in person on the next maybe Veve event or wherever the next chance is. I really can't wait for that. And I had something planned, but this year didn't work out. All the stuff with wedding preparation and so on, right, will consume a little bit of my time. But we will get there. This community is only growing. You will see, like in this last leg, in this altcoin season that is really only starting right now. We will gain a lot of more community members that will stick around for the long time. I figure, right? Let's look at some news. Let's look at some Pompliano trashing. Someone who's saying that Bitcoin is not meant for saving. I leave that to Pompliano here because it's really nice. Quickly move the chat here to the middle. Let's go. So it's only a minute or so, but listen to this.
The volatility on this thing is way too high for anybody to call that a savings account. I mean, you may like it, but I think that's a bridge too far right now, isn't it?
Over the last 30 years, the US dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power. So in my lifetime, $1 now buys you 50% or 50 cents of service and goods. And so when you think about that, the most volatile asset that most people hold is the dollar, and they're on the wrong side of volatility. Bitcoin, on the other hand, over a long period of time appreciates. And so the best statistic to look at this is in 2016, the average median home was about $380,000. I'm sorry, $280,000. Today, it's over $400,000.
Right.
So 50% increase in the average home in America. During that same 8-year period, it used to cost 664 Bitcoin to buy that home. Today, it costs 6 Bitcoin. It has been a 99% reduction in the cost of a home in America if you held Bitcoin. And so another way to think about that is if you had about $5,000 of Bitcoin in 2016, today it could buy you a house.
But depending on the volatility on this thing.
Okay, so like really that, I think this is a good reminder of, first of all, why we are in Bitcoin, but secondly also that we should start measuring some prices of either daily goods that we're using in Bitcoin instead of dollar to give us a notion what this really brings. And maybe if you are going out now and say, okay, I'll measure this at 100K Bitcoin, and then 2 years later in a bear market, obviously then you have a reduction. So you need a longer time horizon. But what he's basically saying is take the house, even with a fiat increase, but measure against Bitcoin, right? The apartment, like average apartment or so. Maybe if you want to do the comparison and start measuring it, take the bear market price of Bitcoin, or take the bear market price of Bitcoin to look at the fiat term, or just and then compare it to actual prices right now, so you can really see what really happened. I mean, from 15,000 to 100,000. I mean, for example, if I look at Munich apartments here, 400,000 for like 70 square meters, absolutely high. But if I would measure that right now, what would that be? That would be approximately 4 Bitcoin, right? If I look back to only 2 years ago, that would be way more Bitcoin, right? That would be, what would that be, like 30 Bitcoin or so? So from 30 to 4 Bitcoin is basically the performance. That's a pretty good return. And the volatility that people are saying is way too high is actually a present, right? The volatility is why we are in this market, and why basically the volatility and the non-understanding of this asset gives us this chance to be in that market, to make something out of that fiat that is depreciating in the bear markets, right? Especially in the bear market. So for me, the strategy here is really to create a cash pile to then move hard in the next bear market, right? That's what the altcoins are for. But Bitcoin is the ultimate end goal, to have X Bitcoin. It can be zero. Like, I mean, if you make plans right now, you see you don't have any Bitcoin, yeah, maybe 0.1 Bitcoin or so is the first goal, right? That would be $10,000 right now, but maybe in the next bear market, it's really only 12,000 or so. Sorry, not 6,000 or something like that, right? We don't know where this bear market will find its bottom, but if previous cycles are any indication, then it's slightly below the previous all-time high, right? So this time we have hit 15,000. 15,000 here, down here. Slightly below that all-time high, right? So if you would estimate wherever we are going with the price of Bitcoin, let's say here 160K or so, right? Maybe we are just going to form a bear market somewhere slightly below this all-time high, so 65,000, for example, right? Well, that would be something to pile on the cash from the altcoins and then move hard into that, right? That's a possibility. Good. Now let's look at actual news. So I covered 2 days ago that the shareholders of Microsoft were deciding whether Microsoft should move into Bitcoin or not. And here's basically this is proof why there will be more cycles, right? So the shareholders decided only with 0.55% to do that. And that really shows you that even that among all of the Microsoft shareholders, only 0.55% really understand where this is going to. That also means that about roughly 99.5% or 45% don't understand where this is going to, right? Otherwise, they would have voted in favor. They will understand at some point, but probably it's going to be next cycle. Probably we are not going to see the Magnificent Seven in that sense, like the old ones, like Facebook, Google, if they are even around in the next 4 years, right? Google probably, right, from all the development that we're seeing, but they really don't hold Bitcoin, and they have to disclose it if they would have, right? They have to do a year's end report and so on, quarterly reports. We would know if they would have any Bitcoin, right? So there's no real possibility to buy in secrecy and in 8 years reveal how much Bitcoin they have. Probably and maybe there's a play to, even if they understood it, they probably also understand the bear market cycle, so maybe they try to buy in a bear market or so, but there's no decision, so they would have to go into another decision again next time to propose and buy, and we will see when they do it, if they do it, right? But yeah, exactly, 0.55% is absolutely not what we expect, right? So someone also said, this is very surprising here in the comment, right? Very surprising. I thought companies like BlackRock control the voting rights for index funds. If that's true, did BlackRock and others vote no? That seems incongruent with them selling their Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, that's interesting, right? That's very interesting take, because I also remember that BlackRock is a major shareholder, so they should have used all their voting right to vote in favor and then make Microsoft make Microsoft buy Bitcoin ETFs on BlackRock, and then they are back holding that again, right? But maybe they don't want that. Maybe there's an agenda to not wanting that. But I can only say it's good for us, because let's say if we would have this institutional adoption, central bank adoption, all in this cycle right now, yeah, it might take chances from us that we would now have, right? So yeah, very surprising result, but it is what it is, right? Then also interesting is other companies go a little bit different about this. So here we have Marathon, publicly traded Marathon buys 11,774 Bitcoin for 1.1 billion. Now here we have to see that Marathon is a mining company, right? So Bitcoin mining companies can technically only sit back, mine, and then sell this and have their cash flows. So something says in the analytics says that Marathon saw with this $90,000 price a chance to make more profits, right? And that it is profitable for them to buy instead of offload Bitcoin into the market. So the question is, what do they know, or what do they speculate on at least, to buy Bitcoin at these prices, right? Someone also says here, maybe I'm nuts, but I think a Bitcoin miner should mine BTC, not buy it. Why pay full market value when they can mine it for 70, 80, 90 cents on the dollar? Well, this is easy to answer, right? Because there's only so much to mine. And they probably decided that's absolutely not enough, because the 400 Bitcoin or so that is mined around the world is just per day. That's not all going to Marathon, right? If they get a 10% share, even like 10% would be even high, right, from all the hash power across the world. So that's definitely not enough in their books. So 11,000 is a whole another beast. You have to mine, like, I don't know, like, how many days would that be? So if you would get all the Bitcoin from mining operation in the world, it would be like 3 days or so. But considering that it's more like a month or even more than a month worth of mining, right? So that's basically the reason why they did it. But it's still interesting, super interesting to see that 1.1 billion spent on highs to do that. Yeah. Whereas we did see before that the miners were offloading at sub 60K or at around 60K to fund new mining equipment. Now they are probably already preparing to take another profit move once Bitcoin pumped again, right? Maybe they're looking at metrics. Maybe they're seeing how much hash power is coming into the network. Maybe they see the level of adoption in a different angle. Maybe they see the competitors also playing around with that and seeing that they don't have enough Bitcoin. So yeah, that could be happening. Also, Ethereum, and now this is very important, so make sure to pay attention, right? Yesterday, the spot Ethereum ETF saw a $305 million inflow. So no one really cared for the spot Ethereum ETF. Even the launch of the ETF was a little bit underwhelming, right? If we see that. Now we see the bigger inflows, and it has all something to do with this, right? Actually, no, not with this. Sorry, with this. No, also not. Where the heck is my... there we go. Is it that? Yeah, that's it, what I was looking for. Sorry for that confusion. It has also something to do with this, right? We have this mega trend line from 9 years ago in the altcoins, right? Or better, in the ETH BTC. So this is Ethereum against BTC. Whenever this is low means until then, Bitcoin outperformed Ethereum. Right now we are at the bottom touch point, right? I'm very sure that the people that are buying billions of Ethereum right now are very aware of this, right? So what's coming next is Ethereum outperforms on this bounce, Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. And I believe that would be the signal to fully send the altcoins into their altcoin run. So we are just at this bottom really, and the alt season just started with this little green candle, with this bounce, now this corrective move, but it really just started. What we're going to see is this massive run up, right? This massive altcoin season run up, and they know it. The big players in the market know it, which is why they're buying this type of Ethereum in the ETFs, right? The institutions, they only can buy with this. So it's interesting to see. And then if you compare, for example, altcoin season 2020 to 2024, you have an initial run up, and then you have like a 30% correction. We didn't have a 30% correction, but I think we actually almost did 28% correction here. The question is, after that, we've rallied for about 400%. So the question is, will we rally again 400% from here? That would be absolutely massive in the altcoins. And here is the thing that I wanted to tell you about what I did in the last days, right? I did prepare. So you remember from beginning of this stream, I said that this run might be very quickly over, right? Could be already over in February or something. So that means I need to be prepared because I'm traveling. So I have moved parts of my altcoins to exchanges in case that I need to take profit quickly, right? So this is a kind of my holiday preparation. So what you don't want to have is you're traveling and then you get stuck somehow, right? You can't take profits even though that you want, like your wife changing money on your balance sheets, but you can't take profits. So you want to be prepared to be able to take your profits, right? At least initial investment plus some, or you have already taken initial investment, then another 10% share or so, right? To be able to take profits when you feel that that's the moment, right? That needs to happen. You need to be ready for that, because after this dump, very likely we are going to blast off. It's going to be absolutely degenerate. We are only seeing the beginning signs. And what is crazy is, sorry for the brightness, but this is the altcoin bubble index basically. So sorry, the Bitcoin bubble index is that. And the Bitcoin bubble index basically tells you whether retail is hardcore in or not, right? So you have the BTC price here. You have the Bitcoin bubble index in green, which you see was absolutely massive in the last cycle. And then you have the Google Trends, like Bitcoin Google Trends. And really, we don't really see that big of a move in the Google Trends right now. And also we don't see that affecting the bubble index at 100K. So the big question is when then, right? And I remember that when I entered the crypto market also, it was only around such a time, right? So maybe the big wave of retail investors is actually coming, making the bubble index move, right? We see this initial spike here where we also have rallied quite a bit, and then this mega inflow that also coincided with a lot of search term. So this bubble index, very interesting stuff. Overall, one thing is interesting. If we look at power of law, yesterday I was looking at it and I was thinking to myself, well, the real big parabolic move in all the runs basically only happened closer to this midline, this linear regression fit, right? So we see that also here, and then the whole thing happened above it, right? And the bear markets happened below it. So according to that, we still have way to go, right? The upper band at this present point in time is at 370K. So if we would mimic this cycle, right? This here is also a bull cycle. You have this hit, the rejection, another back test, and then you go to this 20K, right? Which was the bull market top. So what if we would go within 3 months up to 369K? That would be absolutely wild. I would then even doubt that we would come back to 60,000 in a bear market, to be honest. It's just a what if. Don't count on that. And personally, I don't like making plans with that, because you see that when we did not hit this runway zone in the last cycle, we also didn't hit the projection of close to 100K that it should have hit in the last cycle, right? But if you consider again that we should have hit 100K, well then we should not be close to a top at 100K here, right? So it's a little bit difficult to bring all of these things into one picture, but we're getting there. And as you know, the indicators that we're looking at together, they're forming a pretty nice picture, and we will see how exact we are going to be able to call the end of this run, right? This is going to be an experiment, and because this is an experiment, it can fail, and because it can fail, you need to have a plan, a contingency plan, where you're already taking profits when things are looking to go to closer, right? That is important, very, very important, so that you don't marry your bags and live another bear market with the altcoins, right? Very, very important here. CME watch tool quickly, still showing 99%. I thought that maybe with the inflation rates that were coming in and on expectation, but still higher, that we see a little bit of a decrease, but we don't. The altcoin market is very, very green right now on the daily, because we had been decimated, but still, like the week, look at this, the week overall is mixed. We see that bigger ones like Link, Uniswap, Sui, and so on, DYDX, they are pumping, whereas others are still red. So these other red coins, they're probably going to recover as well very soon. Right now, Fartcoin is leading the charge here with Baby Doge and so on. So meme coins having another push. Sushi, Swap also. So a lot, yeah, it's like a little bit mixed, because other coins like IoTex, Core, and so on, they are just down. Patrick Bultman says, have to go to hamster wheel. Have a good and safe travel to Brazil. Rona also here. Good day to you. Then see you soon, Patrick Bultman. Have a nice day in the hamster wheel. I also will have to head off to hamster wheel, but not yet. First, look at the altcoin markets a little bit more. So there's some news for where is it? We already looked at that. There's some news for Floki, right? Hey, so Chris, I hope you're still here. So make sure to spam the Floki coin button. Floki just got listed on iTrust Capital, the leading crypto IRA platform in the United States. This listing is massive listing for Floki when it comes to adoption and legitimacy, as it makes it easy for users to buy Floki in their tax advantage retirement accounts. Imagine buying Floki for tax in your retirement account. Hey Luca Petric, what's going on? Good to see you. Also, Link partnerships are getting ridiculous. Now with the Emirates NBD partnered. Very dry comment, get used to it, here from Rory. Someone else says, cool, nobody wants bankers coin. Sui is the ticker. Be like water, my friend. Well, we will see, but I think many people want the Chainlink coin. But big fat news here. Lucas says, PH, hope you have a great time in Brazil. Thank you, man. I certainly will. I mean, and I will update you, especially like the rare hodlers. They will get a little bit more updates in the Telegram group as well. If you want to become a rare hodler, then don't miss your chance. Subscribe to the channel and then subscribe to the rare hodler tier that is there. It also will allow you to spam the emojis. Okay, so what we are anticipating here is, so you see, right, the USDT dominance. So how much USDT basically is in and out of crypto has bounced and now is already falling back. So lower high trajectory as we want to see. So the lower this goes, the more money, the more USDT, the more tether is flowing into crypto, right? So you have these this downward sloping trajectory. We are expecting maybe a little bit more resisting here, maybe a couple of more days, but once we lose the support line, we will in like massive pumps we will see out of this market, right? So we have a measured move here that goes all the way. Wait a second, that is way too low. What happened to this line? I mean, what the heck? Am I on the wrong chart? Not on the wrong chart, but on the on the logarithmic. What the heck happened to this line? That was not the measured move that we said. Not -3. What the heck? Not -3%. So let's check it out here quickly. Wait a second. So yeah, what we are expecting is, look at this here, right? Tether dominance is to reach this line, right? So 2.5%. That is the next move. Very likely, that is the next move. To go down to either, so first resistance line will be here, and then we will see. This is what we expect when we lose this level. And it would be a massive allocation. But also keep in mind that from the bear market, we have already allocated so much, right? So it's almost 60% of the tether moved out, right? Yeah, thank you for all the wishes here. Chris Klein says, I hold more Floki than anything, even more than BTC. So that's great news. Yeah, absolutely great news. I hope you will take profit at some point, and at some point then appreciate the gains. That I hope will happen for you. So USDT ready to crash, ready to lose another support, and then big gains. Bitcoin dominance got rugged. Let's see. There we go. So Bitcoin dominance, I mean, on the higher time frames, we don't even see this bounce that we had here. But Bitcoin dominance is really only starting to fall here. So again, this is the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. Here we see the bounce. So we had the bounce all the way up here. We perfectly backtested, and now we're good to go to fall more, right? So we backtested this resistance line here. It looks all according to plan, right? So basically this is the plan. Maybe there will be more resistance here, right? So more support in that sense. Maybe, we don't know. But we will observe. If so, that would just mean that we have more sideways moves. Not really, like Bitcoin could move up and the altcoins just follow. You would have a sideways move in that. That would be the ideal scenario. Bitcoin, for example, going to 130K, and then the altcoins going up in a similar percentage, and this only going sideways before it collapses. That would be the ideal scenario, because that means all altcoins go up and then they multiply, right? So yeah, that could be really wild. Total 2 also recovering. Vechain recovering, right? We have a perfect back test for Vechain here. On basically after breaking out, we corrected all the way down to this breakout. Now we have already recovered on the smaller time frames. We see it right here is a perfect retest of this level. And the next would be then continuation, follow up, right? Indicator cooled off, let's go, right? Same, by the way, for Mcade. So if you are interested in Mcade as well, then we see that we have this pullback and bounce on the breakout. So you see this here, right? Previous resistance flipped into support. And then it basically means, right? You see this setup. We have talked about it a long time. We have said here that this might be it to go. We've broken out. We've backtested here. Now we are looking for the continuation. But Mcade looking really, really nice. Really, really good. So yeah, this one could really be a banger, right? Mcade could really be a banger. I mean, it's already up from these bottoms. Whoever had conviction buys, it's up right now 600%, 7x. Only the breakout, right? Already 7x. So really crazy. For me, on the average, it's about the 4x already, but I'm just sitting in this bag waiting for the rally. So yeah, Smash up the like button for more alpha. Rona is setting it. Devi pumping good. Let's check out Devi. We also like Devi. Yeah. So for Devi is also that we said. We said this is going to be similar to Arweave. It's actually behaving exactly like Arweave. Massive falling wedge, broke out, backtested, flag, boom. Right now we are very like there's not really anything bigger holding it back from going up here to almost 2. So yeah, there's I think about the 2.5x to go up here, challenge this previous high, and then we'll see, right? But Devi is definitely going to do extremely well here. Yeah, and also here, I mean, once this is reached, I'm probably going to just take my initial investment and see what's happening with the coin. Sui USDT, also a nice look at Sui. Yeah, I mean, could this prediction be any more right? I was saying that we are in the wave 3 move. Yeah, price discovery, probably. I don't know. Probably there's more chart or so, but on this one at least, I'd say wave 1, deep corrective wave. Wave 3, very much, probably going more, right? So yeah, absolute PogChamp here on the waves move, right? Sui, I will never forget when Omeprazole. I will never forget when you came in here and were like, I have such a big bag of Sui, but it's down 30% or so, or 40, and we talked about that at that point you can only hold and see what's happening. From that bottom here, from the wave 2 corrective move, it's a 10x up. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Exactly as predicted. Sui and Link killing. Link is crazy as well. And let's see here, USDT. Right, I mean, this is the perfect setup what Link had here. You have this massive bear market base forming. Like, you have a perfect backtest on that base. You have the same basically that I drew in for Sui, only that it already has history. But you basically have your breakout wave, your backtest, and now you're in wave 3. And then there is going to be a wave 5, right? Something like that. Probably more steep, right? A little bit more steep. Something like that. Could that happen? Who knows? $100 chain link, not out of the cards. We are at $25, do a 4x, that would be possible, right? Yeah, I was afraid. Well, I think that one is a good history for all of us, right? To just see that all the stuff where we were afraid a while ago is just pumping nuts, crazy, big fat gains. Now, obviously, don't forget to take your profits as always, but yeah, I think this is a good one. Yeah, why not? I mean, $100 or close to 100. Let's say it stops at 95. I mean, we are at 20. We are almost at $30. So it could 3x still, right? I mean, I'm not saying it will. It could also be that it just puts a lower high under the all-time high. But really, with the Bitcoin dominance at that level, everything's possible. GRT USDT is also requested. I think still GRT is trying to form this big fat thing here. Will take a little bit more time. I think it will probably pump up to this, then react once more, so to 50 cents, then react once more at this, and then there will be the breakout, right? I think GRT will take a little bit longer time. And GRT and Vechain and so on, these are all coins that are actually all waiting for ETH signal, right? So you go for wait a second, which one of these is my Ethereum charts? I think it's a Bitstamp. Yeah, there we go. By the way, let's move that risk curve. Okay, so Ethereum, like many coins, you see this, right? you remember how the graph looked, right, from 5 seconds ago, right? So you have this compression in that style, right? You have this kind of this setup, right? All these coins that are following Ethereum, they all have a similar setup, right? For a breakout. Some of them already broke out of their chart, but Ethereum did not, right? Ethereum is going to lead the charge. You remember that also in the same live stream today, I showed you this. Ethereum against Bitcoin, right? This is the breakout. So this is when all these coins will follow Ethereum. So Ethereum has also reacted here, had a corrective move. What was that? 15%, right? So all these altcoins also, like the Graph and Vechain and I don't know what, all these altcoins, they also have that. So now once this breaks out and completely goes ballistic, which it will, according to what I showed you, ETFs being bought, whales buying Ethereum, big fat Ethereum. Yesterday we saw, I didn't show this in the news, but yesterday saw Trump's financial platform buying 5 billion of Ethereum or so, right? So, by the way, why is this out of the window here? There you go, right? They all have this setup. They all have this, right? All these coins. So I would almost guarantee that when this breaks out, when Ethereum breaks out here, which will be, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a week or so, right? That all these coins will move drastically, right? So I'm definitely going to wait for that because there's no reason in calling any big altcoin tops or so when Ethereum didn't break out. And it will, I think, even with all the FUD and so on, I think it will break out and then subsequently it will break its all-time high. And the measured move here is 6.8K, which we're seeking to hit. I'm telling you, when we're getting closer to this target, I'm going to sell my Ethereum. Okay. Can you check ACT? What do you think about DEFIX? Again, like that, Definity is a very small coin. I think it will do well. ACT. Oh, that's Akash Network. Wait a second. We already looked at that. At some. Okay, so Akash Network. AKT. Is there a bigger chart? But this one's already big enough, I think. But I mean, I would like to see something like. So what I would like to see. So there are two different things, right? This one would not be good, right? So forming some kind of a falling, but I don't think that's it, right? We have to observe, but I think this will take more time, to be honest, right? So what I could see is this goes up with the market, has more resistance, and then you have something like an inverse head and shoulders, pop, and then you go, right? But I think it will take more time because this, like, the market is trying to figure out what to do with this. But this could be it pumps to this small shoulder and go, right? Important is to break this level at 610. Yeah. So the other scenario is, but I can't really see why this would happen. Is like this, right? This is the other scenario. I can't see why this would happen in a generalized altcoin season unless this project is fucked or something like that, but I don't think it is. I've not checked. So I think it will do well. Yeah, I think it will do well. Probably going to form something like that. Yeah, Akash. I mean, kind of is like render, right? RNDR. Let's see if render is looking the same. Yeah, render kind of looking the same. Look at that, right? I mean, you kind of have you only don't have such a clear neckline for render, but I mean, it could be something like that, right? For render, it could be something like that, or smaller. Yeah. I think all altcoins collectively will do well in the next 2 to 3 months. I think there's not really, but I think Akash, because Akash is the same and render is basically the leader. It could also be like this, right? So the forming could be like this, then this could be already the shoulder. and then you go like this. I mean, this is render, but Akash looks just similar. So it could be like this slightly downward sloping line and then an inverse head and shoulders on that. I think it will do better. Also, look at this TSI, bullish on the weekly, Mcade, bullish cross on the weekly, RSI, not even overbought, right? This for render. Let's go back to AKT, USDT. Same scenario. Recent push on the TSI here, cross, like bull cross, no overbought RSI. So for me, more likely than not, going up, right? How would that downward sloping inverse head and shoulders look like? Let's see. Something like this. Yeah. And then from here, the breakout, a little bit smaller target then, right? But yeah. Yeah, that's basically it for that. Let's look at, finally, at Ecomi. So there we go. Ecomi seems, and this is really where I say, okay, I think now we have confirmation. So we have this big falling wedge, right? The orange lines. Ecomi broke out from this. By the way, here you have such a downward sloping resistance and an inverse head and shoulders on it, right? And then it broke out. So Ecomi broke out, obviously, retested here, and now it bounced, right? And I think, so for me, that's enough to say, okay, maybe we can allocate here if we are bullish on Ecomi, right? Which is at 0005, which is not too bad, right? Only everything that came here was a little bit better entry. The rest was a worse entry than this one. So I would cautiously say now we can really see something here. Cautiously, right? Be very careful. Do you think we'll have another low in this current correction? It could happen. I saw something in the charts that might be here. So what you could have, like this total 2 altcoins, right? So what you could have is like this, basically an A, B, C type of correction, right? Where you can have another low. It's possible. But on the other hand, if you look at previous altcoin seasons, you don't really see big corrections like that in there, right? So if you look like to previous runs, I mean, this is the daily, right? So I mean, on the daily it could happen, but you don't really see long corrections in these runs. You see usually only something like this, a dump, and then it already goes higher, dumps again, goes higher, like more wave moves, right? So you don't really see this big ABC style corrections. So the question is, will we really have that here? It's very hard to say. It's almost impossible to say, right? So what is the happy spot for everyone for OMI? I would say like where a lot of people will take profit, if you mean that. So one big fat resistance will be here, and if that's broken, that probably will lead to the big push, right? So this resistance line, which was dominated and controlled by the whales before, is probably going to be the decisive factor when we break above this, which would be at 001. When we come back to 001, go above it and backtest on it, I think then we will have a big push. And I think the majority of profit taking will happen around here of many people, which is about 005 to 007 in that area for Ecomi, right? However, this big like falling whatever pattern, I mean, we will see how the sentiment looks, right? Right now it's like, oh my god, Ecomi, a little bit pump, let's get out of my bag, right? But we will see how it feels when it's up here and suddenly moving and everyone makes gains, and maybe there's even good news. It could be, we could have a different story, right? Like, I mean, you see it already. We have one pump, one breakout, the FUD is already decreasing, right? New Plan says, seeing Ecomi pump makes me feel the bull market is close to ending. there is a saying that weakest assets are the last to run. Yeah, but how do you explain Bitcoin dominance then just being at close to all-time highs still, right? I mean, that completely contradicts the end of the bull market. Usually, in Bitcoin dominance, I'm saying it could be different, but I don't really like to say, okay, this time is different just based on a hunch, right? So usually the end of the bull market is when this happens, right? When Bitcoin dominance completely collapsed and like crashed down and then forms something like this, right? That's usually the end of the bull market. We also see it. We see here we had a steady rise, and now we just have the first break of structure here. So close to ending, depending on how you want to see close, right? I mean, time-wise, we are close because this is going to be happening in like the matter of 80 days or so, right? So you have here like 100 days maybe. So this is all going to be happening until here probably, right? So latestly February. Omi is not pumping, just showed a sign of life. Exactly. So I would also say this is it's not really like Omi is pumping in that sense, right? Omi had a breakout, but it's not really. I mean, this is a 100% move, but definitely not a 10x or so. New Plan says, wasn't the fact that it made a new high before the halving enough to suggest that this time is different? Talking about Bitcoin here. Oh, yeah, I mean, for Bitcoin, I would say we are close to the end, as mentioned in the beginning. I wouldn't like this new high before the halving. We also had this here after the halving, which we usually don't have, which more implies that like this mega long 6-7 month boredom that we had after it, usually we didn't have that, right? So yeah, I mean, this left translation that we had here was then erased by this. We really don't have that much of a left translation. But I agree overall with you. I mean, basing on my indicators here, the top is not far away, right? I mean, 2-3 months maximum, right? I don't see like the whole 2025 or so. I see the Bitcoin top is very, very close. And also, if you look at Pi Cycle Indicator and so on, it also says Pi Cycle Indicator. According to Pi Cycle Indicator, we are not at the top just yet. But the lines are looking now towards each other, right? So that means also a couple of months more, and then probably you're looking at the setup like this, right? But again, right, for Bitcoin, and then there's the altcoins. So yeah, it's very. I'm curious, but I don't think we're there yet. And also, having Omi is not a good indicator for anything, right? Because it's so controlled by whales. It's really only like this is. We will see how it plays out, right? But anyways, guys, I have to jump, so I will head in the hamster wheel. Then I go to the airport. Then I will fly the whole night. So no crypto morning coffee tomorrow in the morning, as I still will be on the plane. But make sure to subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so that you don't miss when I make a video out of the holidays and or do a live stream, right? There could be reason for me to live stream. I will have different drop times. I will have free time, yay, to make live streams if I want to. So maybe we do some Omi drop stream, like Veve drop streams. Maybe we do a crypto morning, or not even morning, like crypto day. Maybe we do something from the beach. Yeah, so we will see. But the next month I will be in Brazil. So make sure to stay tuned for some out of the ordinary content here. Smash up the like button, subscribe, and wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I catch you in the next live stream, video, short, or whatever. Bye.